Number 12, we have an application of quadratic. Alright, so we have a rectangular parking lot, has a length that is 8 yards greater than the width. Okay, so we've got a rectangle. We have length and width, and then it says that the length is, so length equals 8 yards greater than the width. So that's going to be W plus 8. So our width is W, our length is W plus 8. So that will be all the way around. The parking lot area is 180. So how we find area? Length times width. The area is 180. So 180 is here. The length, which we have an equation for length, which is W plus 8. And then the width is just W for itself. So if we multiply this, that will give us our area. So we want to find the width and the length. So we got to find both dimensions. So we're going to end up with a quadratic. If we distribute W throughout, we have 180 equals W squared plus 8W. So almost looks like a quadratic. We're going to move the 180 over. So everything is set equal to 0. So subtract 180. It's going to give us 0 equals W squared plus 8W minus 180. Alright, now we're going to factor this. I would believe this would be whole numbers for length and width. And having a leading coefficient of a 1 is the best for factoring. So since 180, 1 times 180 is a really big number, let me write it over here. Actually, I don't know why I'm scooting that way over. 1 times 180, 180. So 180 is a really big number. I'm going to use that calculator and show you how to get that list again. We have to subtract to get 8. So I'm looking for the factors of 180 that when we subtract, we get 8. So how do we do that again? Y equal, type in the number you're trying to factor, 180, and then do divided by x. So it's the button right next to alpha to get x. And then you do second, and the graph button gives you a list. So I know that I'm looking for the ones that I subtract to get 8. So which of these numbers when I subtract give me 8? 9 and 20, that will give me 11. Look, 10 and 18. If we subtract those, we get 8. So I'm going to write down 10 times 18, which is 180. And these are the ones that will factor. So we have 0 equals, and then 2 sets of parentheses. And then we put a W in the front. That's our variable this time. And then the 10 and 18 in the back. Bigger number, positive, whatever the first sign is. So 18 is bigger, is positive. And then the signs are going to be different. So this has to be negative. And then when we set them equal to 0, and we add 10, we get W equals 10. And then if we subtract 18, we get W equals negative 18. Okay, now we have a measurement for width. Measurements cannot be negative. This is like a real world scenario. So there's no way that our parking lot could have a width of negative 18. So this answer gets thrown out. So our width, therefore, is 10. And if we plug in 10 right here, length is W plus 8, so that gives us 18. So essentially it is that other factor that we came up with, but you do need to go through that process. So parking lot has a width of 10 and a